Okay, in this tutorial we're going to be looking at solving radical equations specifically, and that means ones that have radicals in them, and there's the variables are under the radical sign. So what you want to do for the first examples, or the simpler examples, is try to isolate the radical sign by itself. So we want to isolate this by itself. So simply isolate the radical sign by itself. That's what your idea is. So I'm going to subtract 1 here from this first example. So I get 3 root 3 minus x equals 15. Then I can divide by the 3 to get the radical all by itself. And now to eliminate a radical sign, we just square both sides. So square of this is just removes the radical sign. Square of this is 25. Okay, once you get to that point, you solve for x. Negative x is equal to, if I have to subtract 3 from both sides, so x is equal to negative 22. And with radicals, you have to check your results because quite often you end up, sometimes you get a extraneous root that doesn't work out, so check this. So if I'm going to check this, that would be 3 times the root of 3 minus negative 22 plus 1 equals 16. So this is 3 times the root of 25 plus 1 equals 16. And this one actually works out. 3 times 5 plus 1 is 16. So it works out. You can also check mentally if you so prefer, but I like to write them out. Okay, and I'm going to move this up a little for our next one here. And here we have 2 variables. However, even though I have 2 variables, our same idea exists that we want to isolate the radical sign by itself. So in order to isolate the radical sign by itself, I'll subtract x from both sides. Or actually, probably I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the radical sign over here so that we can get rid of the negative sign. Let's add root 3x plus 2 to both sides. So x is equal to 1 plus the root of 3x plus 2. That way it makes it positive. And then subtract 1 from both sides to get rid of this one. Okay. Now to work this out, to solve it, from here, to get rid of the radical sign, we square both sides. So x minus 1 all squared equals 3x plus 2. So this is x squared minus 2x plus 1 is equal to 3x plus 2. Then I bring everything over and make it into a quadratic equation. So now, I know I can't solve that by factoring. Once I subtracted 2 from both sides and I subtracted 3x from both sides. But I can use the quadratic formula to see if there's an answer. So the quadratic formula tells me that it's negative b, so negative negative 5, plus or minus the root of negative 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1 over 2 times 1. So this would be negative 5 plus or minus the root of 25 minus, 25 minus 4 minus 1, so that would be plus 4 over 2. So our simplified answer is negative 5 plus or minus root 29 over 2. doesn't work out to a nice even number, but it works out. Okay, so that's our second example. And I've got a third one here that is quite long. If you have two roots like this. So I'm going to put that on my next tutorial here. I'm just going to stop this and start my next tutorial.